Hello there, this is Darth Rabbit07, taking advantage of Labor Day weekend. Got in the armored version of Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe Classified, and I can't wait to get out of the package and take a look. Like I said, it's beautiful out. I'm off from normal activities, so I'm going to get some recording caught up on. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff down below. Thanks again for watching. Let's take a closer look at Cobra Commander armored up. And here is Cobra Commander with combat armor on the turntable, guys. He's got his iguana, the jetpack, an extra head, and he starts off with his I am once a man face there going on. Beautiful artwork on the side. He's number 168 in the series. Some attributes, jetpack, iguana, the figure, and let's crack him open. Before we do, pause and scan there, and maybe perhaps I will be able to help you guys find yours in store. This came in from Amazon as stuff has been hitting, you know, kind of crazy here lately. Let's crack them open. So back whenever this guy came out, I seen him in a couple episodes right after the movie, him getting armored up, but I didn't realize that in fact when it comes to these accessories, that Serpentor got turned into this here iguana. So there is Serpentor and his iguana. This is how this Cobra Commander got control of Cobra back. Here's his jetpack. It's got some, you know, bend in those little tips there or whatnot. Pegs into the back. You got the pew pew, which is that, especially in the sunshine, it becomes more malleable. And a lot of folks are not crazy about the bendable weapons. You get two fisticuffs, left and right hand, so you can get some punching action with this armor Cobra Commander. Of course, the all famous pointing, rolling over Cobra hand and finger, and his human face there. I wish we could get the hooded Cobra Commander in Classified. I don't think we got that yet. It's kind of funny we got the armored one, but yeah, there that is. There that looks. And here he is with his once a man face up close and personal, looking really snake-like as he, you know, was converted back through Dragonfire, and he's back in his humanoid form, not a snake. And that speaks of, I got that I was once a man set, that Hasbro exclusive. It should have been released to general masses because it's another form of Cobra Commander. I can't stand it when they do exclusives like that. At least this one is a general release and came promptly from Amazon. It's not supposed to be here till October, and here it is now. We'll go ahead and peg in that jetpack. So there's that. It's kind of floppy on my copy. You got all the standard Joe articulation. The pads do move up out of the way, and in the sunlight it is a little bit more, you know, malleable, flexible. You got that upper body movement there, and look up that far. Neck's kind of stiff and stuff, and what have you there. He's got that black collar stuff going on. Great detail going into it. He's got the armor. He's got the holster that it'll hinder some of the articulation of the left leg, but it's got, like I said, all the standard Joe stuff. They hid that upper thigh behind the armor. Really nice. You get the pinless knees and stuff, and for a clever 2-week jump cut, I finally get back to doing this review and stuff. So we got that double pinless knees and stuff, looking really awesome. He's got some foot down for flight, you got some foot up, and you got those ankle tilts that are rocking right there on both legs. All the standard stuff. We got a storm getting ready to happen out here in the background, but I even did a little, you know, pointing, you know, and commanding you to go pick this guy up as if you need to be commanded or pointed to do that. Hopefully you got it before the price increases and stuff. I'm just not going to pay any more for that. Whatever I've got out there, it's pre-ordered, that, you know, that kind of thing, or if I can find it for cheaper, this is the only way I would get the rest of my G.I. Joe Classified. And I was pretty big and heavy back into collecting G.I. Joe Classified when it first came out 5 years ago. Is that right? God, it's been 5 years since I got a hold of that Snake Eyes and that Destro at the beginning, and I was on board from there. But the price just steadily grown and increased. Like with all things, is getting really out of control here. And for what little bit they give you with these releases, I'm just not willing to do that. So I did get him locked in at the $24.96 price point, and I don't care if it was a move from Rhode Island to Boston and economy and all that other stuff, I'm just simply not going to pay $1 more for any of these standard figures with the little as they come, that kind of thing. And I'll just review what I've got, because I got a whole bunch of backlog downstairs. So maybe, you know, if if we can get through this whole thing with this administration's tariff war that self-inflicted and didn't need to be, then, you know, I'll get back into collecting, you know, my favorite childhood nostalgia stuff. But I mean, other than that, that's all I'm going to say about that. And it's just aggravating, guys, because I'm already 50, and a lot of us that grew up with this stuff are, you know, hitting the 50 mark or getting close to hitting 50, and we don't got a lot of time left on this earth. And I just want to spend it playing and having a good time with the stuff I grew up with the better figures of today versus what we had back then, with those O-rings that snap, break, pop, and that kind of thing. And it's just aggravating. So anyway, this guy looks phenomenal, and I was getting out of G.I. Joe back in the day when this guy released, and now it's like I'm getting ready to get out of it again in a sense, because I'm not going to army build like with those prices being sky high and out of control. Let's go ahead and get him into a final pose and some final thoughts, guys. Thank you for your patience. Some final thoughts on Armored Cobra Commander from the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 168. This set is still pretty cool at the old price point. $25 is a bit much though for standard flare 6-inch figures, and it's definitely not got the quality of Hot Toys and that kind of thing. That said, I do feel like back in 2009, I'm going to rewind back to that far, whenever the Rise of Cobra came out, and or the subsequent G.I. Joe Retaliation movie came out, the live action movies, that this is what they were going for in an on-screen Cobra Commander, but this does it so much better. I would love to still see the stuff get done and treated, you know, with the proper respect and authority that it needs and stuff. I didn't even know that Serpentor got shrunk down into iguana, so that was fun. And that's where I've had a lot of fun reconnecting with this, and because there was all spots and skips, because I was more into girls than I was these action figures and stuff. But I mean, I'm grateful that my wife lets me collect this stuff, and I've got to go down through and downsize and figure out how to display my... I have Transformers, I have G.I. Joe, I have some Star Wars, and I've done less and less Marvel. But like, yeah, Star Wars is taking a hit, G.I. Joe's taking a hit, Marvel's definitely taking a hit. I'm not going to be getting even the Spider-Man figures anymore, with the way the stuff is just freaking getting ready to get super duper expensive. It'll ship to me at the old price, what I've got pre-ordered already, because I'm just not even going to pre-order anything else moving forward until things calm down that way. I mean, this Cobra Commander, getting back to the figure here, is awesome. The detail eye work and stuff is really, really good. You know, at a mass market release that's not a Hot Toys figure, it's got all that standard you know, kind of stuff going on. I think this is my favorite until they actually do a hooded version of Cobra Commander, and that'd be like the only time I would go and splurge to get something else. Is like the hooded Cobra Commander is still like on that list, and then they've got like pretty much all the other bases covered. What bits of the special forces I got, like Tiger Force and that kind of thing, will go to the wayside, because I mean, I'm just not going to get a hold of this stuff for the inundated prices. The other thing I feel like that Hasbro has done and jumbled with is not having the vehicles and whatnot. I mean, he's got his little jetpack or whatnot, and then I just got one of the claws, but that was like a Pulse exclusive, and that should have been mass marketed. And the whole G.I. Joe Classified line, and tying those vehicles like the Hiss tank and the Rattler to a freaking HasLab is also not a very good business practice. And they need to release the freaking vehicles, because they are much as big a part as the characters themselves. The character had a vehicle most of the time, and that was where I had my draw to that mask. I mean, you had characters and vehicles and stuff. Anyway, that's just my own nerd rant going on there. And I do hope you guys are having an excellent, safe week. This is a little bit 2 weeks later fish and wrapping this up, but better late than never, most like all that stuff. And all the stuff that we're getting has been more than meets the eye, but I mean, but even there's a price to pay, and I'm just not willing to pay that price to pay anymore for it getting more expensive and stuff. This is supposed to be fun, and it's no fun when you have to freaking do heart, soul, arm and leg, and that kind of thing to buy these things. Thank you again for watching. You guys have an excellent week out there. Stay safe. And Yo Joe.